Welcome to the online safety presentation from Prince Henry's Grammar School. Thank you for taking the time to watch the presentation, and although we are unable to hold the evening as we had planned in school, I hope you find the content useful and informative, and that it gives you the advice and guidance you need to help keep your family safe online. The aim of this presentation is to provide advice, guidance and practical tips in using a range of programs and devices. We'll look at the role of internet service providers, the Family Link and Our Pact apps, the different settings you can apply in YouTube, the parentzone website, the impact of different gaming profiles, the use of Google filtering, parental controls on an iPad, social media settings, the ChildNet family agreement, and I'll also cover how you can ask questions after the presentation. After the presentation, please remember that you can access this resource as well as links to lots of different useful online safety guidance through the school website on the Parents and Carers navigation when you click on e-learning and online safety. A brilliant place to find information and help is the UK Safer Internet Centre. So if you type into a search engine, the saferinternet.org.uk, it will load up a website, and there are so many links to fantastic up-to-date information that will help you with your choices about online safety. But from the Advice Centre, if you click on Parents and Carers, it will give you a different set of navigation links, and one of those is how to set up filters on your home internet to help prevent age-inappropriate content being accessed on the devices in your home. When you click on that, it will take you through to the internet service providers, well, some of the main internet service providers anyway. So you've got BT, Sky, TalkTalk and Virgin Media. From there, you will go through to the company's websites that will tell you about how you can block content and monitor content through things like the router that you've got in your home. So home security is one of the ways in which you can stay safe online, and it's well worth checking those out to see what your provider will do to help you stay safe online. Just going back to the previous navigation options, you've got the safety tools as well for social networks and other online services. From here, this will take you through to different social networks, web browsers and apps for TV on demand. It's well worth keeping up to date with all of the different versions and safety opportunities within each of these apps and browsers and things like that, because they change so often. And so keeping up to date with that content will help you to make the right choices and stay up to date as well. Google Family Link is a service that Google provides, and if you search for Family Link in Google, it will take you through to a page which explains all about it, and the intention is that it will help you to create healthy digital habits across your whole family. It will give you the opportunity to manage different accounts that are linked to Google, and it does that in a number of ways. One of the things you can do is help your child make healthy decisions about what they do on their device, with activity reports showing how much time they're spending on particular apps. It might be that can then lead to a conversation about how they are using devices to get the best out of them. You can also monitor which apps are actually used. So if your child tries to download an app, you will get a notification through, and you can then choose whether to approve that or deny it. That way you know that the apps that are in use and are accessible to your child will be suitable. You will also be able to keep an eye on screen time, so you can limit the amount of time that is spent on a device, and you can also set times of the night and day that the device and apps will be accessible. You will also receive recommendations for the types of apps that are available, so if they are recommended by a teacher, then they will be suitable for your child to use. You will also be able to keep track on a map of where the device actually currently is, which is useful in so many different situations. You also have the opportunity to lock a device remotely. If you choose to use Google Family Link, you can go to the account settings to set which types of settings you want to have, and that will apply across all Android and Apple devices. It's also worth noting that depending on the device, some of the functions might not necessarily be accessible, so it's definitely worth checking through the list of options that you have depending on the device that your child will be using. You will also get specific guidance when using an iPhone or iPad to help link the accounts and make sure that the settings are exactly what you want. An alternative to Google Family Link is Our Pact, which again you can download on both the Play Store and the App Store. It will give you parental controls, an app blocker, enable internet blocking, block social media, and also give you a parental time lock as well. You will need to download it across all devices to get the most out of it. It will do a lot of the same things as Google Family Link, but it really is just a choice of which one you want to use if you want to use that type of approach across devices. You will be able to schedule screen time to limit app access automatically for recurring activities. That way you know that the apps are only available at appropriate times. You can also use the manual block and grant feature to make sure that you can either block or grant access to the internet and any apps at any time from anywhere. Our Pact is a trusted form of communication and is available across multiple devices and multiple platforms. It is free to download, but there are paid add-ons which may factor into your choice of whether you want to use this or not. If you wanted to, you could manage up to 20 devices, and it will have the same impact across all devices when you change those settings. And the rules that you apply for either always blocking or always allowing will be applied across each individual account. Screen time allowance as well is also a big feature, so that you know you can encourage the right type of balance between time spent on screen and doing other activities. The Family Locator tool, just like the map within the Google Family Link, enables you to see where everyone is that's connected to those devices at any time. Some of the features in Our Pact are only available as part of the paid-for service, so to get full functionality, please do check the details on the Our Pact website and also in the details in the App Store or the Play Store. When using YouTube, it is possible to restrict the content that is displayed, therefore reducing the chance of mature content or inappropriate content being displayed on the screen. When using an iPhone or iPad or an Android device, you'll need to access the settings in order to enable the restricted mode. That tends to be in the top right corner of the screen, but if you tap Settings and then go to the filtering options, then you can choose to select whether you have restricted mode on or off. There are some different levels, so on the iOS app, for example, you can set it restricted mode to off for no filter and then strict when restricted mode is on. When using a computer, the settings again appear in the top right corner, and from the drop-down menu you will see restricted mode off, the example in the bottom right corner of the screen just at the moment. When you click on that option, it will tell you what state the restricted mode is currently in, and you will see a little slider bar that you can click on. When you click on that, it will actually activate restricted mode. That way there will be more strict restrictions applied, therefore a filter will make sure that content will be appropriate for the search that you have made and the videos that you are looking for. There are lots of amazing websites that will provide excellent up-to-date information to help stay safe online. Parentzone is just one of those, and I really would encourage you to look at this website, to visit it, because it covers a range of issues and provides a lot of relevant advice that is really easy to access and really easy to follow. When using Google, it's possible to turn on Safe Search. This helps to filter out explicit results and help also avoid most adult content. Within Google, you need to go to Settings, then from the menu select Search Settings, and then in the tick box turn on Save Search. When you click on that option, that will save those settings, or you will need to save those settings then, so that every subsequent search using Google will use the Safe Search functionality. To change the settings on your iPad, you will need to access the settings from the settings icon on the home page. From the menus, when you select Screen Time, you will be presented with a whole host of options including downtime, app limits, always allowed, and content and privacy restrictions. By pressing on those options, you will be able to then customize how the iPad can be used. You may need to set a passcode, or if you've already set that, it might prompt you to change that, and that actually might be useful from time to time. In selecting downtime, you can choose when the iPad and the apps will be available to use. You can specify categories, either all apps or a selection of categories. And you can set the time amount for allowed apps and select Set App Limit. When you're happy with the choices that you've made, you can click Continue for the content and privacy. You can enter a parent passcode, which will then enable the changes to only be made when that parent passcode is entered. So you can be safe in the knowledge that any changes that you make will be maintained unless you have actually gone in to make the changes at a later date. So you can change downtime settings, the app limits to amend locked app categories. You can select which apps are always allowed, and you can change content and privacy settings to block or enable iTunes purchases and location services, and a whole host of other things that you will see when you check each of your options on your iPad. When we're dealing with social media, there are so many different sites and apps available to provide that level of communication between people. So it really is worth discussing together as a family what settings are currently set on different social media profiles. An absolutely brilliant place to look for up-to-date information is the internetmatters.org website. If you follow the link on the screen, it will take you through to all of the up-to-date information for each of the currently used apps and popular apps as well. So there will be advice, and there will also be things to look out for in terms of the privacy settings and what information is available on accounts. And so if you do talk through that together as a family, you'll be able to see if any changes do need to be made. Likewise, across all gaming consoles and gaming platforms, there is a huge variety of accessibility to online communication through games consoles. It's gaining in popularity, and lots of people are now connecting through games consoles. To keep up to date with what information you need to be aware of and what sort of settings you should be encouraging your son or daughter to have while using a games console, please also use the internetmatters.org website by following the links through parental controls and then gaming consoles to get up-to-date advice. One other thing you can do to ensure that all your family have a clear understanding about how to stay safe online is to reach a family agreement. The ChildNet website provides a great set of resources to enable you to have the conversations to make sure that everybody is making the right choices when they are using the internet. One of these resources provides a series of questions and prompts to help you establish how you are using the internet and if any changes need to be made. Thank you for watching the presentation. I hope you have found the advice and guidance useful. If you do have any questions, please email them to onlinesafety@princehenrys.co.uk.